Hello, Darren Daily community. I am interrupting our normal format for what I think is an urgent message. I moved from my backyard here at my house in San Diego to my home office for a different kind of conversation. It's kind of like moving from the Rose Garden to the Oval Office for what I think is a more urgent personal conversation that you and I need to have. So let's just acknowledge the past few weeks have been tough. The fear, the uncertainty, the anxiety that everybody has been feeling is real. And here at Darren Hardy LLC, we see ourselves as being in the healthcare business. While there are other professionals working their tail off out there to try to look after your physical health, we are here working 24/7 around the clock to look after your mental health. And we know that there are two very critical conditions that we need to help you through during these times. The first one is a sense of depression. It's true. We are all feeling it. And what you're feeling actually is grief. Grief for the life that is gone. The life that we knew is over. There will be a pre-COVID-19 world and there will be a post-COVID-19 world. Kind of like there was a pre-9/11 world and then there was a post-9/11 world. The world was different after 9/11. Going through the airports were different. It was a loss of innocence for a lot of people. And that will be true in the post-COVID-19 world as well. So you're feeling that grief. We're all feeling that grief. It's a loss of normalcy. It's a loss of personal connection. It's a loss of safety. And then there is the anticipatory grief. It is being uncertain about the future, the fear of the economic toll that this might have, the fear that you have for loved ones and their safety. And what the human mind has a tendency to do is to catastrophize everything, to go to the worst possible case scenario. And that's traumatizing. It's emotionally and psychologically, and then becoming physically draining. And so you are experiencing the phases of going through grief. First, there is denial, and much of our population was in denial about how significant this was for a very long time. And then the second phase is bargaining, which is like, okay, I'm not going to do that, but I'm not going to not give up on this, right? I'm going to still do this. And so we kind of bargained our way for a week or two during this, and then bam, it really hit us the last week or two, the condition of sadness. And I think we've all been kind of moving through that over the last couple of weeks in particular. And then ultimately we want to get to the last phase of grief, which is acceptance. And that is just accepting this new reality and taking back control of what you can do. Not all of that we can't do anymore, but now focusing on what it is that we can do. And that's a little bit about what I want to talk to you through during our time here this morning. So the first thing I want to address is that it is okay for you to feel. It is okay for you to go through these phases of grief. We just want to get you to the other side of acceptance. The second condition we know we need to help you move through is going to be moving through the recession. And that is to help prepare you for your comeback coming out of this crisis, how you could have a breakthrough after the outbreak. And so we'll be giving you lots of resources and help and support to make your comeback, this whole crisis, be a catalyst for growth of you, your business, your family, going forward into the future. So stay tuned for a lot of that. But first off, right now, we need to talk about the mental condition of how you take back control of the world that you can. While right now you might not be able to have control of all the things that's happening in the outside world, which is a great feeling of hopelessness and helplessness, and that's a bit of the grief that we're feeling. You can control what happens on the inside. Now, maybe even if you can't control a lot of what's happening on the inside of your home because you have your kids at home and because of your isolated environment has become a little bit chaotic, the one environment you absolutely can control is this environment right here. And it is critical. You realize the number one organ responsible for your immune system is your brain, that you cannot have a healthy body without a healthy mind. If your mind is sick, it will make your body sick. That's the way it works. And the one thing that makes your mind sick is when you bombard it with stress, fear, and grief. That is what will debilitate and weaken your immune system and make you more susceptible physically to being ill. So all this bombardment of news media and social media and continuing to kind of feed yourself that true virus is only going to make you weak physically. So I want to suggest two things. One is you need to protect and then feed your mind. Your mind is where the battleground is taking place. It is not taking place in your body, not yet, but it will take place in your body. But the gates to your body is your mind. First off and foremost, to make sure that the immune system is strong so that what you do maybe pick up in the air with your hands, through your eyes, your mouth, whatever, you can ward it off to some degree because you're physically healthy, because you've kept your mind healthy. So protecting, look, there's very little information that you need as we go through this crisis. You can get it 3 minutes in the morning. Look, I get all the information I need while I do my morning routine in the bathroom. Like literally on my phone, on a Flipboard device, I see what I need to know, what's critical and essential that I need to know at that particular time. And it's very, very little, right? I mean, I don't need to listen to long news programs or newscasts. I don't need to listen to podcasts. I don't need to read long articles. I don't need to continue to refresh the death count that's happening in different parts of the world or even within my own community. You have to understand that all that is the virus that's weakening your mind that will make you susceptible to disease. There's vital information that you need. A couple of minutes, you can go to cdc.gov. All you ever need to know is there. You do not need to bombard yourself with it 24/7. The second part of this is to feed. This is the where you need to take more aggressive action and proactively going out and seeking what it is that can strengthen and embolden your mind. You want to take control of your own healthcare here. So you want to feed your mind what it needs. Jim Rohn would say, you need bread for the head, right? You could skip a meal, but don't skip a Darren Daily. You could skip a meal, but don't skip the training program that can bolster your mind and your vitality. So this is why the A-Team and I have been working around the clock. We started coming to you in real time in my Cabana office when I was still back in South Beach, Miami, and now here in my home office in San Diego, nearly every day. So we have put together a whole slew of resources to try to help you through this crisis period. The Better Everyday Crisis Control page, where we aggregate all the things that we're putting out on one page. Then there is the Better Everyday Leadership resources, half a dozen of the Darren Dailies that we have unlocked so that you can feed those to your teams and to your families. The training on how to lead virtual teams. This is something I've been doing for 25 years, well before COVID-19. How to lead productive virtual meetings. And then all the A-Team tips that they offered through that as well. The whole series on how to spring clean your life and business, particularly during these times when you are in isolation. And then all the real-time Q&As that I have done right here from my office around those. The whole morning routine blueprint, which has become more vital now than ever. And then all the A-Team tips about how they've adjusted their morning routine, given their new reality as well. And probably the most important resource, the one that has had the greatest impact on achievers globally, now 35,000 people all over the world, is the Insane Productivity Training Curriculum. And so what we've done is we've opened up complimentary access. So literally for 30 days, $5 activation fee, you can go in there and experience the richness of what is available to you inside that training program. What's interesting is that we just happened to be going through it as a team before this whole crisis had taken place. So now I think we're on like module 10 or 9. And just yesterday, I had been having a conversation with some of the team members saying, how you doing? How you feeling? What are you going through? And so forth. And Mariana, our actual producer of Darren Daily, said, thank God we've been going through insane productivity. She says, because the way that my world has changed, that what I've had to deal with inside my home, what I've had to deal with inside my mind, there's no way I would have been able to have stayed as sane and as grounded and certainly as productive if I had not just happened to be going through insane productivity and have all those resources and that mindset at the front of my mind while I was experiencing this crisis and chaos. So if you really want my expert advice about how to stand at the gates of your mind, how to protect and feed your mind, how to take most advantage of the time period that we're in, how to prepare yourself for the comeback that comes out of this crisis, here's my expert advice. You want to pay for training. It's the only way to get yourself to pay attention. Because see, right now, there's too much information out there and everybody's offering their resources out there for free. And as a result of it, it's just adding to noise. It's becoming blur. It's actually adding to your overwhelm and you're not sticking with anything and nothing is sticking to you as a result of it. I saw it happening to me. I have been consuming mass volumes of information to try to figure out all the other things that I could do to be helping you. And I just realized that it was just overwhelming me and not helping. Nothing was sticking. So literally last Thursday, I paid a significant amount of money to be on a 2-hour virtual training broadcast with a bunch of world thought leaders. And I tell you, if I hadn't, in about the first 6 to 8 minutes, I probably would have clicked off of that training if it had been for free. But because I paid for it, I stuck with it. And I'm telling you, about minute 70 to 80, I got an idea. That was huge. That was huge for me, for our business, and for my ability to make a global impact. And I would not have gotten to that idea had I not stuck with it. And I wouldn't have been paying attention if I had not paid for it. So I'm telling you firsthand, you have to get leverage over yourself. It's part of the human condition to just go from thing to thing to thing, shining out and shining. But you can't get yourself to actually stop, And pay attention until you have made an investment in it. And it's a decision. Once you make the decision that this is worth it, once you make the decision that you're worth it, that you're worth investing in. Oh yeah, it's worth buying shoes, buying, a Netflix subscription, but is it worth it to invest in you and in your skills and in your greater future? I'm telling you, that one act of making a decision that you're worth it is 80% of the personal development you're actually going to get out of it, is saying you've prioritized yourself. So you don't want to allow yourself to say, well, I don't have the money. You have the money. It's a prioritization of the money. Reallocate where it's going now, which is probably not going to have the positive, profound potential on your future as the right training would be. Just reallocate. And, and if you don't know what your finances are going to be like as the future is uncertain, well, then particularly now, you want to smack yourself into shape and equip yourself and prepare yourself so that what does lie ahead, you are ready and able to attack it with some actual skills and some reset of your mindset. So the reason why I'm coming at you like this is the plague is here, and the plague is mostly mental and psychological. The plague is anxiety, it is fear, it is stress, it is depression. The antidote exists inside your mind. And I know that the right resources can keep you healthy, keep you vital, and keep you productive. The right tools, the right material, the right systems to reset yourself emotionally, to reground yourself psychologically, to refocus your mind on what you can control, to utilize this time to plan and prepare for your comeback. So in conclusion, look, we are living through an incredible time in history, one that we will be telling future generations about for a long time. And what you need to know is that you were born for this moment, for right now, for this momentous time in history. Remember, the definition of a hero is an ordinary person, that means, you and me, put in an extraordinary circumstance, that's right now, who steps up and takes action. That means answers the call, proactively goes out and does the productive things to prepare and position themselves to do something positive going forward in the future. So you were meant to be here, and you were meant to be with us in this better everyday movement. And the world around you is looking to you, and everybody in your industry is looking to you. Everybody in your company, on your team is looking to you. Everybody in your community is looking to you. And most certainly everybody in your family is looking to you, because they're all experiencing the same: uncertainty, fear, anxiety, worry, and paralysis. And they're watching you to determine how they should behave and how they should think and how they should act going forward. So they're counting on you. And this crisis is defining who you are and who you decide to be, because you could decide to emerge from this whole crisis a stronger, more capable leader, a more capable, loving, and caring parent, a more connected friend, and a more engaged citizen than you were coming into it. You can decide to turn this COVID-19 crisis experience into the most positive, defining event of your life. 10 years from now, you're going to look back and either say, I'm glad I did, or I wish I had. I'm glad I stepped up. I'm glad I took care of my mind. I'm glad I made the necessary investments. I'm glad I planned and prepared my comeback. I'm glad I took aggressive action and quickly. Or you're going to have to say, I wish I had. So it's really what you do now that is going to greatly define your future. These are crucial and critical times. So be great, Darren Daily community, and be a hero to somebody else. Please get this message to all the people that you know to end the pandemic of anxiety, stress, fear, and depression. We need to point people to the resources of hope and potential and possibility and help them take back control of their mind and thus their life. Yes, we need to social distance, wash our hands, disinfect the items that come into our home, but we also need to wash our mind, disinfect our mind, and be careful of all the things that we bring into our mind as well. And so I'll list all the resources that we're making available to you below here, and go out there, be the hero your family, your team, your community needs from you, my Darren Daily friends, and we will be right here with you, arm in arm, all along the way. Be good.